So as soon as I started this project, I knew it was not going to go over well. I'd been trying a couple of different things, but none of them went well. This is probably my best. My introduction was good, and then I think it kind of fell apart from there. I don't really know what I'm going to say besides that it is not a very good interpretation. I think picking 4 people was a bad idea instead of just doing one.
These little kids are wonderful, and Sherry's instrumental on bringing them on, and it's kind of fantastic.
As you can see, or you'll see later,
Always likes to get some new jewelry.
I mess up where I put people and things like that for voices and all of that.
You know,
it's pretty bad.
The very real threat of nuclear catastrophe in Japan is the biggest story.
I had a really hard time keeping up with what they were saying, not only because they were going back and forth between people, but because they were
risking your life at this point, because
what's the word? Oh, they were just talking really fast, and like they would get off point. They talked a lot about Japan a little bit, which was really difficult. Well, here, we're talking about radiation and prevention, and I don't really know anything about radiation, power plants, nuclear plants, any of the science for that, so I had to rely on a lot of fingerspelling. Lost a lot of important information in this segment. See, my fingerspelling is, it's too sideways and icky. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just keep thinking, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful, why can't I do this? So, yeah.
And we all have questions about how bad this nuclear disaster can get and how it will impact the U.S., if at all. So in our audience right now, Chief Health
no, still no good sentences yet, sorry. I was just kind of zoned in on what I was signing, see if I could figure out anything good. So,
should we be worried? I mean, we saw the tsunami wave actually get to the west coast of the United States. Should we be concerned that if there is...
You can just tell that I'm thinking really hard on how to condense all of this information and put it out for it to make sense.
I think this is an opportunity for people to really pay attention and think about how...
I didn't know it was time for disaster, so I kept saying problem.
I think the chances of radiation coming from Japan to the west coast...
After going through about 1 million interviews and talk shows about Japan, I probably should have just looked up disaster, figuring they were going to talk about it, but I guess you never know on the view.
This is an opportunity. Fewer than 10% of people in the U.S. have an emergency preparedness kit. It's so easy.
I was really trying not to look nervous about what I was doing and show that I really didn't know what I was talking about. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't work very well. You could tell I was really thinking hard about what I wanted to say.
They all have badges. They're monitoring radiation. And ABC,
trying to explain these badges was terrible.
Because of the threat of this reactor. But people are putting themselves at risk. In terms of radiation, if you are exposed to radiation, you want to listen carefully
there
about
was
what to do.
good radiation, that was an awful sentence.
It's very simple to remove. You're changing your clothes, you're showering, you're removing that. If you're in an area where there's bitter release, if you do a thorough soap and water shower and a shampoo, 95%
couldn't think of the sign for soap. I know it's soy, I saw one, but I had no clue at that time. I guess I was implying in implementing a lot of transliteration things, because I was struggling so much with the speed and the ideas and concepts behind it.
And then you can link to all this information, but I also want to know, if you are here in the United States, and aside from any sort of effects coming from Japan here, if you're living by a power plant?
I know that's not how you say power plant. It's like an electricity plant or building that makes electricity. Again, I think I got stuck in like this transliteration mode because I wanted to just get the information out as best and fast as I could.
They have iodine. And the reason they have that is one of the things that's released early from a reactor is radioactive iodine, and that can cause cancer. Children are at the greatest risk. You want to give that dose within the first 2 to 6 hours. So schools have it there.
I guess something that's positive is my finger spelling when I use it is usually pretty clear and understandable.
One of those plants and they say, we're concerned there's going to be a problem with this plant where there's been a release.
Again, you can see that I'm thinking, it's like, oh jeez, what do I say?
If you're pregnant, do you have any
Talking
worries
about
the unborn baby?
You do. Pregnant women are another group where iodine you want to take quickly because it will protect the developing baby. That's one of the groups that's at an increased risk.
35 miles from Indian Point, right here where we're speaking, where there's an online reactor.
I didn't know exactly what she was talking about. I thought she said China syndrome.
Yeah, you know, it's different than when that movie came out. When you're talking about the China syndrome,
But I have no clue what it was, and I totally spelled syndrome wrong, even though I know how to spell syndrome.
But they're designed to be able to contain that material. And if that happens, you should not see a big release. What they're concerned about in Japan is, will that steel shell hold and contain that radiation? And you know, initially it was looking like it was. Now with aftershocks that are the equivalent of a massive earthquake, will it be damaged?
I'm not very excited with this.
There were 33 new plants about
This interpretation, as you can tell.
right now with the government.
Well, I expect that what's going on in Japan is
I think a little later on I kind of do some ASL setting up with people and things like that, so when we get there, we'll see. We'll see what I have to say about that then.
More in things like solar and other green forms.
Dr. B, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Now listen, comedian Gilbert Gottfried was fired as the voice of Aflac, the mascot of Aflac. Okay. Tweeting jokes about the tsunami in Japan.
Hey, look at that, rhetorical, talking about Gilbert Gottfried getting fired. It's not the best, but it's there. I was trying.
One of the things that was said, so you understand why Aflac did what they did. So again, not mine. Do not send emails, ugly letters. This is not mine.
Good use of pronominalization. One of those 7 discourses of myself, making sure to point back to the same person every time and not keep finger spelling or sending them over. It was really hard for me to figure out exactly what they were talking about in this section, other than that it was the joke, and I couldn't figure out how to put it into like an ASL structure without it becoming kind of confusing for me and other people to see it.
When a natural disaster strikes and lives are lost, he's always inappropriate. That's inappropriate is one thing, but I'm going with you got lives lost. And people are trying to find out if they got their children. To make jokes like this is inappropriate. I don't think I think a company goes by just the morality of it. You're not gonna do that.
Whenever they started arguing, I got really lost. So that certainly wasn't helpful. Because they almost always argue. That's kind of like the fun of the show.
Aside from being like ethically or morally right or wrong, practically this is where his business is. Gilbert Gottfried. If it wasn't that fact, it was not true that he would have been fired. I would say that it would be a one-dimensional argument.
I tried to implement a good ASL question, and the information leading up to it wasn't very clear, so I don't think the question was made out to be very clear either. So that's a shame. It felt pretty good when I was doing it, but it doesn't look very good when you watch it.
Is that comics have never been appropriate. They've never been appropriate. They've never. That's the whole idea. And what you have to understand, and I get it. I got fired for supposedly making a joke, but I was making a joke about the president, supposedly. Okay? And they fired me, and yet my show won't air. So you do know who the person is.
That section I felt was okay. It probably could use some more cohesion. The fact that being fired for making a joke about someone that may be inappropriate isn't something new, but should be understood that, you know, that's what comedians do. They make jokes that are not necessarily right.
I know there are many human beings that are comics. You know what? I don't agree. I am a comic.
I feel like I kind of got Whoopi's inflection about it being a joke in there, maybe almost a little too much, but it was like she's trying to get her attention, like, shut up, we gotta keep going. So I hope I got that across. Oh, yeah. There's a commercial break here, so it will kind of be quiet. And I'm like, oh, I'll do the commercial break. Never mind. We'll just start the video up again once the next part comes up. Oh, there it is. Yay, we're back.
So, we're going to stay on the disaster in Japan because Glenn Beck says that the disaster in Japan could be a message from God.
This I had a really hard time interpreting for because I started reading about religion and feelings, and everyone had to put in their own 2 cents, and it was like really hard to keep each person's comment in character.
Is he talking about us as human beings on the planet, or is he just talking about Japanese?
It was really hard to get all these concepts together too, like whether or not about the commandments and all that junk. I just, it was a struggle. Then I think I signed Jewish wrong, so I signed Jewish wrong. And I know Catholic, so I'm Catholic.
Topic, and I think given the tsunami, the earthquake, etc., it's come up even more.
Again, overall, I just feel like I wasn't well prepared vocabulary-wise to do something like this.
Centuries and centuries and billions of years that the Earth has been in existence, billions of years. There have been earthquakes.
My finger spelling's kind of slanted now. I think I was getting tired already, 12 minutes in. I should be tired 12 minutes, but it happened. I don't have to say.
Are the Neanderthals responsible for their demise? Did they commit a sin? They're gone.
Wow. That's terrible. Finger spelling again.
People do sort of you're too ugly. It's not but I'm sure that his belief
I'm using my voice command, which is bad, I know. I have a real problem with that.
Maybe he believes that this is a message from him. I mean, people think there are messages from God that are not as great as usually in mental hospitals, those people. But wait a minute, are you calling anyone? Wait, no, not voices. Don't tell me. When I think about it and I pray and I have my faith, do you think anyone who has a relationship with God is not? No, are you hearing God speak to you? In which way? By voice? Yeah. In a language, be it English or Japanese? I believe that God speaks to all of us in ways.
It's really interesting.
I don't know what to say about it anymore because I just don't.
But with the spiritual aspect of it, I can't speak for the Mormons.
Talk to God, maybe, but he's not talking to
As a Christian,
That sentence wasn't too bad. Kind of showing, being able to talk to God through prayer, but it's not like he's actually answering you
hesitant to say
in any way.
For God to say he is punishing people, but we do look at things that happen, these disasters, and we look at, is Jesus coming? Is it closer? Because in the Bible it talks about the signs.
I couldn't hold the information, so I just had to keep going. I guess that's the best thing that came out of this, is that I just learned to let it go and pick up and just keep going, and whatever I get out there, I'm not going to be perfect all the time like I want to be.
It doesn't expect anyone to sort of say, you're an idiot because you don't believe, or you're this or you're that. So, if this is because we're misbehaving and God is pissed, I would check the mirror, Glenn.
I thought that what Whoopi said was hilarious and really true, but I had a horrible job of, expressing it. Like, it just didn't come out good, even though it's true.
Anytime there's something devastating, I think there's a tendency to blame it on God. I don't think God would ever want this to happen.
Blame it on someone else. Once it was all the black people didn't do right in New Orleans, and so they got cursed, and gay folks blamed that on homosexuality. Katrina, and Morgan Capricci. But my point is, a lot of folks.
I never realized how far back I bend my fingers when I number things. That's weird. I think that section was okay, but it wasn't the best ASO that I could put out about Dad killing off everyone because of whatever silly reason Glenn, what's his name, could come up with. Oh, and then talking about The Bachelor. This was awful. This was terrible. I was so tired by this point and so just down on myself. Like, this is the worst thing ever. That even when I tried, it was just like,
I want you to give me the chance, and I want her to give me the chance to be an actual father.
Like, what do you think that means?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
I am. Then why are you putting me on the spot here?
I'm not. I just.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I guess it's okay, but
There are, like, no surprises.
I am seriously having a hard time breathing right now.
I didn't really know how to express
Two things that I could have said to
what
Emily tonight.
they were saying.
One
It was
is I
just
love
kind of
you,
like
and one is that I want to be the best father.
crappy reality TV banter to make it better, you know?
I was shot out of the life. I was slapped in the face.
Do you think maybe I can ask you?
That's the question I have for you.
So,
He said I could have said
let me go
two
back to
things
the
for me if you
lovely
don't
women
get
of
this.
The
I think
View
when you have a
talking
child,
about
it's all fun and games when you're a single woman
and
and
then
you're
the
vying for
after
this man's love
part
and
of the
attention.
show.
When you got a child, the games are over. You don't jump through hoops. He's got to jump through hoops for you because you got kids.
I
You're
was
protecting them.
this part I didn't know how to convey.
Was one of them, I want to be the best father I can be to your child. Did he say that?
Doesn't mean it. At some point, I think he did later on. Not
So,
at that moment, but he got a little. He did in the
yeah.
moment get a little defensive.
Basically, I think I pretty much bombed this
He
interpretation.
ends up
But
proposing to
out of all the bombed interpretations, it was probably the best. I just feel very rushed and out of place doing dialogues that I can't necessarily control the pace of speech and ask questions about. That's about it for my
every part of
app.
who I am.
I don't really know what else to say besides there were very few good moments. There's a lot of stuff that I can work on, such as retaining information and condensing and using less transliteration techniques and broadening my vocabulary.
Right now,
So yeah, that's about it, I guess. Wow, that was a loud clap. I really need to be careful with that kind of stuff. So
Smart thing on her
other
because
than that,
she's got to figure out when the
you
cameras
know,
and lights are off. I gotta see how you are with my daughter.
not a great interpretation, but there's somewhere to start. It's a good jumping off point to kind of pick and choose what I'm going to work on. Like vocabulary is going to be my big goal for spring break and things like that, so that I can sit down and do these things and not have to worry about the signs and what I need to use. So that's that.
So I'm gonna say nothing but we'll be right back.